You're not converting on social media, and it's not because you're not showing up. It's because you are not creating content that is designed to sell. In this episode, I am handing you my exact 4-part framework that actually turns your content into clients. Let's do it. All right, so we're gonna start with the reasons why you're not converting on social media right now. There are 5 big reasons why. Number 1, you're doing the reps once. You're simply not doing enough volume to get feedback, to test different hooks, to see what is working. You're maybe doing one post or one idea instead of repurposing it or reimagining it. You're doing it once, it's like there for 24 hours. It gets a couple likes and then you're like, it didn't work, and you move on to the next thing. We've got to actually reiterate our strategy and try things multiple times in multiple different ways. Number 2, your content is boring, safe, or too perfect. I'm not pulling my punches in this episode. If your content is vanilla, it will not get traction. We are in an attention economy. And so what we need to do is we need to get people's attention. And I'm going to show you how to do that later in the episode. Number 3, you have no DM sales system. If you want to convert on social media, you need to actually have a sales process on your social media. So whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever platform you use, you need to use your DMs to start conversations and convert, okay? Really, really important. Number 4, you've got a toxic relationship with social media. If you're approaching social media like, oh my gosh, this thing sucks, then guess what? It's going to suck. What you need to do is you need to find a way to make social media work for you, because it isn't going anywhere. It's part of your business. And when you do it right, it is how you are going to land clients. It's how you're going to acquire new work. And finally, you're giving how to, not hell yes. A lot of people approach their content in the same way that they did in 2019, 2020, but the landscape has definitely shifted. And so what we want to focus on is, rather than giving how-to and value-adding content, we want to infuse our story. We want to infuse our expertise and authority into that content, okay? So I like to think about it as how-I content rather than how-to. So an example, instead of saying, here's how to get 5 new clients this month, I would say, here's how I got 30 new clients this month using a simple funnel. See how much more you're like, oh, cool, I want to know how she did that. That's how we've got to think about content. Now, I'm going to show you the simplest way to create conversion content. I've got a framework that I'm going to show. I will say, I'm using this pen and I realized that my dog has eaten part of the lid of this pen. So if you're watching this, there we go. Can you see that? Okay, perfect. So that's great. It's going to make this framework so much better. I'm going to show you the conversion content framework in just a moment. But first, I want to kind of paint the picture of what this funnel actually looks like, because we have a funnel for your email list, we have a funnel for your ads, but we also have a funnel for your social media. And so the simplest way to think about it is like this. We've got content, right? Like what you post on social media. And then we've got conversations. So how do we get people from your content to send you a DM? And then from the conversations, we have conversions. So we're using our content to start conversations with our dream clients. And then we're in those conversations, whether it's automated, partly automated, or whether it's all manual, it's just you messaging them. That's how we get conversions. Now, a conversion could be a booked call. It could be a direct sign up, someone actually paying you the money. It could be a booking, whatever that looks like for you, all right? But you can do all of this without a sales call. You don't necessarily have to have a sales call. You don't necessarily have to have a proposal or get them to send you an email or fill out your inquiry form. You can do this all in the app, in Instagram. So that's the basic funnel. But the problem for most people is that their content up here is not starting conversations, which means that they're never going to convert on social media. They're never going to get clients on socials if their content isn't strong. So with that in mind, I just want to show you today in this video how we create the conversion content. There are 4 core parts. I'm going to walk you through each one. I'm going to change my color. So first thing we need is what I call a banging hook. Now, This is the professional term, okay? This is what it's widely known as in all the studies and all the papers that they do. It's called a bang and hook. Now, a hook is what is the first line of the caption? What is the first slide of the carousel? What is the first word, the first sentence that you say in the video? What's happening visually on screen that gets people to go, oh, I'm interested in that, okay? So the bang and hook, that's step number one. Step number two is you've got to have a clear message. So we need to, also just FYI, if you're listening to this and not watching it, I'm writing on a whiteboard right now. I just realized you might be like, why is she talking so slow? It's because I'm writing on a whiteboard. Okay, clear message. So whatever you are saying needs to be clear, narrow, and specific. So an example, I did a post. It is definitely a conversion content piece. I did a post and it was me talking about this phenomenon that affects most creatives. It's called the revenue roller coaster. And as me speaking at an event, I'm talking about the revenue roller coaster. I'm doing this the whole time. That post has had thousands of comments and has had thousands of people go through this funnel. The reason it resonates is, yes, there's a bang and hook, but there is a really clear message that relates to my prospect, that they can actually feel. Oh my gosh, I feel that. And it's related to a pain point that they're experiencing. Or another example could be it's related to a deep desire that they have. Pain point or desire, you choose. I like to do a mix of both because people have different buying patterns. So you could take one piece of content that's a pain point piece, and then you could flip it and turn it into a desire piece and just see what works best. But the real kind of take home here is it's got to be a clear message. It's got to be consistent. Don't talk about 1,000 things at once. Talk about one thing, get to the point quickly, and make sure it's relatable, make sure they feel it, and make sure it speaks to either a pain or a desire that they have, okay? Clear message. The third piece is creative format. So this is all about the packaging of the post. So an example would be, okay, maybe I've got one content piece and I do it as a carousel. Carousels are working super well on Instagram right now. Maybe I do it as a reel, like a talking head reel. We can kind of think about, maybe I do it as a post with just a photo. Like we can play with the format. Within each of these, there's different formats again, right? Different styles again that you can see. So it's playing with the creative format and knowing that, okay, I've got a great hook, I've got a clear message, but if the format in which I'm delivering it isn't eye-catching, isn't attention-grabbing, doesn't make them go, ooh, I'm going to stop scrolling, then we've missed the point, okay? So not one of these is more important than the other. We have to have all of them. And the creative format doesn't mean it needs to be slick and beautifully designed. In fact, I find that I'll test a piece of content and go, okay, what would it look like if it was a beautifully designed carousel versus screenshots of the notes from my iPhone? And a lot of the time I'm like, oh, this particular post went really well as the designed carousel. This one was great as a scrappy iPhone thing, right? So it doesn't mean it has to be pro, but it does mean that we have to play with it, okay? So that's really important. The final piece, if we've got all three of these things, the bang and hook, the clear message, the creative format, it's going to be a great post, right? But what we want to do is we want this to be a conversion post. And so the way that we do that comes in this final step here, and that is called the power keyword. So you would have seen this 1,000 times on Instagram, but it's like there's a post and then in the caption it says, comment freedom or bananas or whatever the keyword is. Comment this keyword and I'll send you this particular thing. That is how we get people into the conversations, remember? So that is how we take them from content into conversations. So the power keyword, it needs to be obviously related to the post. The post needs to drive desire for the thing that you are selling, whether it's a freebie or not, the thing that you are selling as your keyword, right? So it could be that you have a free resource. It's like, hey, I've got a free guide on how to get off the revenue roller coaster. Comment roller coaster and I'll send it to you. Okay, that's an example. What we're doing with the power keyword is I find it's best when they are aspirational, when they are action driven. So words like freedom, playbook, guide, scale, like short, punchy, single words work really, really well, okay? Now, when we have all 4 of these, what is the result? Well, the bang and hook is the scroll stopper, right? It's the thing that gets their attention. Without that, they're not going to see the rest of this. So we've got to get that right first. The clear message is the core idea. What's the big message, the big idea that you're going to communicate? It's going to speak to your dream client. It's going to go, oh my gosh, I need to know about this, right? The creative format is the post packaging. So how are we packaging it up so that it gets attention, so that it's visually appealing, so that it cuts through, okay? That feels on brand, feels consistent. And then finally, we have the power keyword, and that is the action step. Each of these are essential if you want to convert in your content, okay? Now, a few questions that I got, I taught this in the Next Level Club recently and gave them a whole framework on it. But a few questions that I got was, okay, if this is conversion content, does it mean that I'm talking about my offer? And the answer is no. A lot of the time, you're actually talking about an idea or a problem that your dream client has or a desire that they have. And all you're doing is you're going, well, if they have that problem, if they have that desire, then they probably want what I have to offer. But we're actually driving demand for a freebie that you have, for like talking to you about the next step. So it could just be, hey, if this resonates with you and you know you need more support in this area, comment Kickstart, and I'll send you some details of how I could possibly help you. So it doesn't have to be a freebie, but the whole post isn't about your offer. It's actually about their problem. And so what I find helps is if we think, okay, the post is about their problem, it's about their desire, whatever it is, then you're not selling. You're not selling in this content, you're actually selling in the conversations. And so one of my mentors, Taki, he talks about this idea that we give in public and we sell in private. And so this content is going to help you to give in public and to ask for the sale in private in the DMs. It's going to mean that the content performs way better, it doesn't feel icky and salesy, and people are going to engage with it way, way more. Now, if you want to take this ninja level, if you do want to take it to the next level, then what you're going to do is once you've got this post, you're going to go to all this effort to create this post. You're not just going to post it once and then say, see you later. You're going to post variations of the creative format, right? You're going to take this idea and maybe you'll do it as a carousel. Maybe you'll do it as a reel. Maybe you'll do it as a post. Then you can boost it. So if there's something that's performing well, you're getting lots of traction, lots of comments, throw some money behind it, boost it on Instagram, and get more people to see it, more comments, more conversations. Because the more conversations we have, the more conversions we get, okay? So when you've got the conversion content, you can start more conversations. When you start more conversations, you can make more money. That's the simplest way to think about this.
There's no doubt that running a creative business and scaling a creative business can be challenging, especially if you don't have a plan. That's why I put together the system, which is where I walk you through my 3-step system that helps creatives just like you to scale to 30K, 50K, and even 100K months. So if you want more from your creative business, if you want to scale without burning out or losing your soul or working with clients that suck, then this is for you. Head to the link and you can unlock my full system today.
Okay, so I'm gonna land this plane. If you're watching this and you're like, oh cool, this sounds really good, I've actually put together a swipe file of all of the power keywords that I recommend you use. So if you head to the link in the show notes, you can actually download that. It's just a Google Doc that has a bunch of power keywords that I recommend. That's just gonna mean that the content doesn't fall flat on this final step. So if you wanna do that, head to the link in the show notes. I'll give you my vault of all of the power keywords to use. If you love this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe wherever you are listening. I'm also on YouTube, so if you want to actually see me scribble like a maniac on the whiteboard, then YouTube is where it's at, my friend. Hit subscribe, means the world to me. Go make some money, go create some content. I'll see you next time.